Founders Academy is a 3-part learning journey designed around the real stages of company building. Lesson 8, Pricing, Packaging, and Monetization. Pricing is not what you charge. It's how you communicate value. Learning objectives. By the end of this lesson, you will understand why pricing is one of the clearest reflections of founder thinking, how mispricing quietly breaks product market fit, and how to design pricing and packaging that align with value, guide customer behavior, and support sustainable growth. Many founders treat pricing as something to solve later. Later after growth. Later after scale. Later after fundraising. In the early days, pricing feels secondary compared to building, shipping, winning customers. In reality, pricing is never neutral. It shapes who buys, how they use the product, and whether product market fit holds under pressure. I have seen strong products stall, not because the solution was wrong, but because pricing sent the wrong signals. Customers churned easily, discounts became necessary, and revenue failed to scale with usage. I have also seen companies unlock progress without changing the product at all, simply by changing how they charged. Pricing does not just affect revenue. It reveals whether a founder truly understands the value they are delivering. Section 1, the founder mindset shift, from numbers to logic. Most founders assume pricing problems are numerical. They debate whether something should cost more or less, whether the market will tolerate an increase, or whether competitors are cheaper. But the issue is rarely the number itself. Pricing breaks when the logic is unclear, when customers do not understand why they are paying, what they are paying for, or how price relates to value. Friction appears everywhere then. Sales cycles stretch. Discounts creep in. Retention weakens. Strong founders stop asking whether a price feels fair and start asking whether it makes sense. Pricing is a story about value. If the story is unclear, the system breaks. Most founders are not bad at pricing. They are just pricing the wrong thing. Underpricing looks like customers love the product but churn easily. Sales cycles are short but shallow, and discounts feel necessary to close deals. Mispricing looks like customers don't understand why they're paying, price objections show up late in the funnel, and revenue doesn't scale with usage or value. Mispackaging looks like too many plans with unclear differences, customers choosing the wrong tier, power users stuck on cheap plans. The problem is rarely the number itself. It's whether the pricing maps to the value. Section 2, value-based thinking versus cost-based comfort. Some founders default to cost-based pricing because it feels safe. They calculate what it costs to deliver the product, add a margin, and assume that logic will hold. Internally, it feels rational. Externally, it's meaningless. In short, cost-plus pricing asks, what does it cost us to deliver this plus margin? Value-based pricing asks, what is this worth to the customer? Customers do not pay for your effort. They pay for outcomes. If your product saves time, price against time saved. If it reduces risk, price against risk avoided. If it generates revenue, price against upside created. This shift is uncomfortable because it forces founders to articulate value clearly, but it is the strongest way forward. In software especially, marginal costs are low and perceived value varies wildly. Pricing must anchor to what changes for the customer, not to what it costs you to build. Founders default to cost plus because it feels rational and is defensible. But customers don't care about your costs. They care about their outcomes. Strong pricing anchors to customer value, not internal effort or features. Remember that as a founder, success will come when you stop feature selling and start solution selling. Section 3, B2B and B2C. Different signals, same mistakes. Pricing psychology changes dramatically between B2B and B2C, yet founders often apply the same instincts to both. In consumer products, simplicity and emotional thresholds matter. In business products, pricing signals seriousness, trust, and legitimacy. In B2B, being too cheap can be as damaging as being too expensive. Low prices raise questions about reliability and long-term support. In B2C, complexity kills conversion. Too many options or unclear tiers create hesitation. In short, in B2C, price sensitivity is higher, emotional thresholds matter, simplicity beats precision, and being too complex can kill conversion. In short, in B2B, price signals seriousness and trust, buying decisions are justified, not felt, and budget ownership matters more than list price. In B2B, being too cheap can hurt credibility. Many pricing failures come from misapplied logic. Founders copy what worked elsewhere without asking whether it fits for their buyer, their buying process, or the value they are providing. Section 4. Packaging is where pricing becomes behavior. Pricing is not just about how much, it is about how customers move. Packaging determines whether users upgrade naturally or get stuck in the wrong place. When packaging is strong, customers grow into higher tiers and value increases. When it is weak, power users underpay, casual users overpay, and revenue stops reflecting reality. Good packaging makes the next step obvious. It teaches customers how to buy and why upgrading makes sense. Bad packaging forces founders to explain, negotiate, and discount. Section 5. The Monetization Ladder. How monetization actually scales. Real monetization rarely appears as a single price. It emerges as a ladder. Users enter at a low commitment point, prove value, expand usage, and eventually reach their highest willingness to pay. When this ladder is missing, revenue stalls. Users stay flat. Expansion requires constant selling. Founders feel like they are working harder for diminishing returns. When the ladder is clear, growth compounds quietly. Revenue increases not because founders push harder, but because customers naturally move upwards as value deepens. There are 4 levels of this ladder. In the beginning, the customer tries a free product, sampling your offering. 2, as they go up the ladder, there should be some clear value that they gain from it. Here, they are a core user. Thirdly, they expand their usage and increase the depth of their experience, the number of seats they hold, what it is they're doing with you. And in the 4th stage of the ladder, they become a power user. Here, they have a high willingness to use your product and they experience advanced value. In short, free is about learning and activation, core is about proving value, expansion is about scaling usage, and power users are about capturing maximum willingness to pay. If users don't climb, your pricing or your packaging is broken. Section 6. How investors read pricing maturity. Investors do not expect perfect pricing. They expect intentional pricing. What they look for is not the exact number, but the thinking behind it. Mature pricing shows the following. 1. Alignment between customer value, packaging, and expansion. 2. Evidence of experimentation and learning. 3. That revenue grows as usage and importance grow. Red flags in pricing appear when 1. Pricing is flat regardless of value. 2. Discounts are required to maintain momentum. 3. There is no clear path for customers to pay more over time. Pricing maturity is not about sophistication. It is about understanding. Taking the time to price correctly at this stage will enable your revenues to scale faster than your customer acquisition cost. Assignment: redesign the logic before the page. Ask yourself what outcome you are truly pricing against. Identify who should upgrade when and why. Look honestly at who is underpaying today and what behavior your pricing encourages. Your pricing page should not just list options. It should teach customers how to choose. Pricing is part of the product experience, not a separate decision. The key takeaways of today's lesson are that pricing is a strategy. It's not arithmetic. Product market fit tells you who values your product. Pricing reveals how much and why. When pricing reflects value clearly, customers move naturally and growth becomes lighter. In the next lesson, we will look at go-to-market systems and how pricing and distribution must reinforce each other. When they don't, growth breaks, no matter how strong the product is.